Hey y'all, it's Jacqueline at PixieDustPhD. I am filming this on Sunday, December 15th, 2024. This is the month 58 creator update. There has been so much news the past month or so. We already did a separate small, little Disney Vacation Club news tidbit roundup recently on the channel, so there was a lot there that I won't cover again in this video. I will leave a link in the description below if you want to check that one out. But otherwise, we do have just a ton of Disneyland news. I want to go over some Walt Disney World news, and then there's more DVC news because the condo association meetings have been going on. Plus, of course, we will do stats and revenue for this past month as well as a lifetime of the channel. And before we get into it, I do also just want to acknowledge that the Disney Treasure is now sailing. This is the newest boat in the fleet for Disney Cruise Line. People are really excited. There's a lot of cool new venues. I am not a Disney Cruise Line person. I don't have a ton to offer for you, so if you want to check it out, there are so many videos on YouTube. Please go ahead and just search that. But yeah, I acknowledge that's happening. I know it's exciting for a lot of people, but I'm just going to skip it for the sake of time here. Let's start with the Disneyland news, and we are going to go a little bit rapid fire here. As always, if you want to slow things down, you can go ahead and adjust the settings in your YouTube player to play back at 0.75x speed, for example. There's going to be a new Fantasmic dining package offered at Cafe Orleans for lunch and dinner beginning January 10th. Arthur and Sons Steak and Bourbon and Pearl's Roadside Barbecue are coming to Downtown Disney. These will be opening in the former footprint of Tortilla Joe's. The new Haunted Mansion queue is now open. The literal physical queue is being remodeled, and so that's open now. And the use of virtual queue to access Haunted Mansion is over, so we're back to standby as per usual. Plus, they are going to be opening a new shop. Tiana's Bayou Adventure out in Disneyland is also off virtual queue, so that is back to standby or multi-pass or Premier Pass Lightning Lane. I do not believe Tiana's is on single pass Lightning Lane. Due to the Avengers expansion construction, the last day to ride the red car trolley at DCA is going to be February 8th, 2025. They are going to leave one out for photo ops is my understanding, but it won't be like a ride anymore. The theme for the 2025 Disneyland Halloween Half Marathon weekend's been revealed and is very villainous. Plus, Run Disney released its Coast to Coast lineup. Again, I'm not really your person to go to for Run Disney news, but if that kind of stuff piques your interest, then there's links below. The Magic Happens Parade will not return in 2025, but we did get a bunch of announcements for Disneyland 70th, which does begin in 2025. Specifically, the 70th celebration will run from May 16th through summer of 2026, so a little bit over a full year is my guess. The Paint the Night Parade is coming back, as well as Wondrous Journeys, the nighttime spectacular. They are also getting World of Color Happiness, which is going to be hosted by Joy from Inside Out and feature a lot of her emotion friends as well as other friends from Pixar and Disney, of course. And the Better Together, a Pixar Pal celebration is also returning. I didn't see further details on this, but they did say a new character cavalcade was coming, and there also will be new projections on the Carthay as well as on It's a Small World. And the new theme song is called Celebrate Happy that will be featured throughout entertainment. As a caveat, I am not a Disneyland person, so I don't keep up with everything going on out there too often, but I will say when this was announced, I was kind of surprised because yes, from what I can tell, Paint the Night and Wondrous Journeys are beloved, but obviously those are not new. World of Color Happiness is new, but it is World of Color. I think it's just kind of like a retheme, and my general understanding from the internet discourse is people like proper original World of Color a lot, and then the sort of rethemes are hit or miss. But we will count that as new. So there's like a new World of Color offering. But otherwise, nothing is actually new. I mean, new projections, I guess, new theme song, one new character cavalcade, it sounds like. But I was surprised that they just weren't doing more actual new offerings for the 70th. That being said, the blog post did say more is coming. So maybe more is coming. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments down below. Since I'm not a Disneyland person, I feel a little bit out of my depths criticizing this, but it just struck me as odd that there wasn't a lot of new offerings, or so many of the things that they're featuring are just things that they're bringing back. And we did also get the rundown of the 2025 events calendar for Disneyland. Again, I love that they do this well in advance so folks can plan. As expected, Lunar New Year will run from mid-January to mid-February. There will be one overlapping week in there in early to mid-February for Celebrate Gospel. Then the last day of February through most of April is going to be their food and wine event. And that will also overlap a little bit with the Star Wars Season of Force, which will begin kind of end of March and run through early to mid-May. So you've got about 3 weeks of overlap there between Food and Wine and Season of Force, I believe. Again, the 70th celebration begins May 16th and will run through summer of 2026. Halloween time begins August 22nd and then of course runs all the way through Halloween. This also overlaps pretty much exactly with the Coco Plaza de la Familia celebration. Then the holidays run November 14th through January 7th. And they did also announce some separately ticketed events. So we've got Sweetheart Nights in January and February. There are 2 90s nights in early March. There's some Star Wars nights across April and May, and then Pride nights in June. And the Oogie Boogie Bash dates were announced for August, September, and October. Lots going on at Disneyland. Let's shift over to Walt Disney World Resort. Lightning Lane Premier Pass is now available to purchase for all on-site guests. Previously, it was locked to only those folks staying at Deluxe and Villas and like the Swan Reserve, Shades of Green, like a couple other partner hotels. But now if you're staying anywhere on property, so you could be staying at All Star Sports, you are eligible to purchase Lightning Lane Premier Pass should you want. The rest of the program is the same as my understanding. It's just now less restricted. Over in Hollywood Studios, Oga's Cantina added 2 new food items. There's like a cheesy bread roll as well as a flatbread. As someone who's always snacking, this is very good news for me. Over in Epcot, in the Soarin' attraction, they fixed the curved Eiffel Tower. So that's kind of one of those, urban legend is not the right word, but you know, it's kind of infamous on the internet if you're a Disney fan about the curved Eiffel Tower in Soarin'. Apparently they fixed that, so that's neat. There's also the stage show coming to the Lightning McQueen Racing Academy area in Hollywood Studios that was said to be villains themed and opening next summer. The name for this has officially been revealed as Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After. And the Magic Kingdom Nighttime Parade, again debuting next summer, also had its proper name reveal. Its full name is Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away. I don't dislike this name by any means, but we knew Disney Starlight before. I'm quite certain they told us it was going to be called Disney Starlight before. And you know, they just had to add that colon in the second part of the name. Like, I don't think it needed to be that complicated, but it's cute. We also got some news about the new lounge spaces that they teased previously. The lounge in Spaceship Earth is set to open late spring of 2025. And then the Pirates of the Caribbean Tavern is set to open in late 2025. And what I think might be kind of the last phase of the Epcot update is the reimagining of Test Track, and that is set to open in summer of 2025. Over at the Animal Kingdom, we learned that the dinosaur attraction will remain open through all of 2025. This will close sometime in 2026 to make way for the new Tropical America's Land, but if you are traveling down to Walt Disney World and you're going to Animal Kingdom anytime in 2025, dinosaur should be open. Which honestly, I think it's great news because, you know, when they announce closures within a few months, like a lot of people can't just change their lives to go say goodbye to their favorite ride. But this also is pretty funny to me because now I think I've been on Dinosaur twice, thinking that would be my last time riding Dinosaur, and I will probably get to go again. Also in Animal Kingdom, the new attraction in the Tree of Life Theater, Zootopia, Better Zoogether, is going to debut in winter 2025. There's been some debate about what winter 2025 means. In my opinion, and I feel pretty strongly about this, that will be like November, December 2025 through, you know, February, March 2026. So not right now. It's not going to open in a couple months in like February of 2025. I think we're talking the winter season, which is 2025 to 2026. And they announced that Destination D23 is going to be called A Journey Around the World of Disney. And this will be held at Coronado Springs in late August 2025. Arguably, the biggest piece of news that Walt Disney World dropped recently has to do with the incoming Monsters, Inc. land. So officially, Monsters, Inc. land is going to replace Muppets Courtyard in Hollywood Studios. But good news, Rock and Roller Coaster is getting taken over by the Muppets. So there's your Rock and Roller Coaster retheme. It's going to be the Muppets / I think Electrical Mayhem mostly. And as Monsters, Inc. is taking over the Muppet Courtyard area, we did also learn that the area that houses Muppet Vision 3D is going to get a new Monsters, Inc. theater show. We do not know when all of this is happening. They just said there's still time to enjoy Rock and Roller Coaster as is and Muppet Vision 3D, so no set timeline. Well, no public timeline at least. And about Muppet Vision 3D, the company said, "We are having creative conversations and exploring ways to preserve the film and other parts of the experience for fans to enjoy in the future." Obviously, that's super vague. That gives them a ton of wiggle room. No one really knows what that means. For many fans, the best case scenario in that extremely vague statement would be they could relocate Muppet Vision 3D. Maybe it goes in Disney Junior Dance Party. Maybe you finally do something with Star Wars Launch Bay. There is space in that park, in my opinion, for this. Worst case scenario is just some kind of preservation. So a lot of people are thinking that they're going to find a way to film the experience and put it up on Disney+. Maybe some of the fun props get scattered throughout other areas of the park over by Rock and Roller Coaster. Who knows? Some people are definitely pretty upset about this news, and I would never say, like, you can't feel your feelings, obviously feel how you want. At the same time, like, as someone who enjoys the Muppets, I like the Muppets, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's like my whole personality, but I enjoy the Muppets, I like Muppet Vision 3D. Honestly, hearing that the Muppets are taking over Rock and Roller Coaster is a huge win. To me, at least, there's some Muppet representation in the park still. It's not just fully gone, which absolutely was an option. And I know people are super unhappy with the vague hand-wavy statement about what they're doing with Muppet Vision 3D, but it does give them wiggle room, which could be good in the end. Like, I would rather have wiggle room for them to explore something rather than them just say, nope, it's closing and that's that. Additionally, even if it is kind of the worst case scenario a lot of people are envisioning where it's just a preservation of the experience slapped up on Disney Plus, like, that's more than maybe any other ride that's closed has ever gotten, so I think that's still good. And I've seen a lot of complaints that the Muppets being a rock and roller coaster is no longer an attraction for the whole family, and that's true. At the same time, I think the company probably has data pointing to the core audience of people who enjoy the Muppets content that they've been putting out are of a certain age and are not 6 to 8-year-olds. At the end of the day, like, yeah, I'm sad to be losing Muppet Vision 3D, but this feels like way better than I thought it would because we are getting the Muppets at Rock and Roller Coaster, which ticks 2 boxes, right? We keep the Muppets and we get a Rock and Roller Coaster retheme, which everyone wants. I am really excited for the Monsters Inc. land, especially for the door coaster. We also found out that the theater for Muppet Vision 3D is going to have a new attraction. So even if Muppet Vision 3D doesn't get relocated somewhere as a proper attraction, we are getting this new theater attraction. So it's like a one-to-one swap of all ages rides. Sure, it will be a different theme, but I can't imagine that the Monsters Inc. theater show would be not appropriate for the whole family. So that means we retain a theater show even if it's not the same theater show. We're retaining Rock and Roller Coaster even though it is not the same theme. We're gaining the door coaster, so that's net +1. And if they do find a way to relocate Muppet Vision 3D somewhere in the park, then that would be net +2 if you ask me, because that's plus the Monsters Inc. theater show if we're getting to keep Muppet Vision 3D. I know that last scenario is not necessarily likely to happen, but having worked in strategic communications and PR before, like, they did give themselves room to let that happen. And so for now, I'm choosing to say, you know, there is a chance. Let me know what you think about the forthcoming Monsters Inc. land below. I do wish they would have given us a timeline, but again, I think they're being wiggly about it because they're probably still working some stuff out. All right, and finally, let's go over some news from the Disney Vacation Club Condo Association meetings. This used to be just like one big meeting, but now every resort has its own quarterly meetings. But thank you so much to dvcnews.com for reporting out what you could. And also there will be some pictures and videos floating by. Those are from friend of the channel Coco. Go ahead and check out their channel at Paradise Today. I did not attend these in person, but Coco went and was kind enough to provide this media. At the Copper Creek Condo Association meeting, it was confirmed that the refurbishment is slated to begin in late spring 2025. No decision has been made about the Murphy-style pull-down sofa beds. Again, I think they are probably balancing space constraints. That setup does take up a bit more room than just a pull-out sofa bed. Bay Lake Tower is currently undergoing its refurbishment, and the first batch of refurbished rooms are set to be turned over to DVC in about 2 weeks. Then shortly after that, those rooms will be available for guest use. So it shouldn't be too long until we get to see the new rooms, which is exciting. All of the rooms are getting that pull-down Murphy-style sleeper bed over the couch instead of the pull-out couch sofa bed. The pull-down twin sleeper is being added to 1 and 2 bedrooms, but it is now confirmed it will not be added to the studios. Therefore, Bay Lake Tower Deluxe Studios will retain its current maximum occupancy of 4 guests. You will not be getting that added 5th sleeper. USB ports are being added to all of the rooms, and the TVs are being updated to be that interactive style we're seeing at some of the other resorts. There will be no major change in room layout, so that also means that the Bay Lake Tower Studios will retain that kind of unique layout with like the galley-style kitchenette. And as the refurbishment continues, the Skybridge will be closed for a portion of it. This is slated to begin January 2025. I'm not too sure how long that will last, but if you want to walk between Bay Lake Tower and the Contemporary, you can always just go on the ground floor. Over at the Animal Kingdom Villas, that refurbishment is scheduled to begin in October of 2025, and for now they are slated to start with Kidani and then move to Jambo House. Kidani is expected to take about 9 months in total. That would have this ending in around summer of 2026. It was confirmed that that Murphy-style pull-down sofa bed will go into these rooms. And in this session, Disney Vacation Club did confirm that the preferred nomenclature for room view, room category, was literally just a name change. There's no other change to the room classification. It's just nomenclature. And then in general, Disney Vacation Club did acknowledge that there is a small number of DVC owners who seem to be operating with the intent of commercial rental activity. What I mean by that is, as an owner, of course, you are expressly allowed to rent out your points should there be a time you can't use them or you just want the cash flow instead. Totally allowed. But there are a very small number of users who seemingly have gobs of points, like over 1,000 points, and own those with the express intent of renting them out AKA it's like a commercial activity for them. They're trying to make a profit that way. That's not expressly allowed. DVC did say they were aware of this. They seem to emphasize that it's not a huge problem, right? It's not like 20% of people engaging in this activity. It's a pretty small scale problem, but they know what's going on and they're trying to find a way to address it. A similar conversation was had about the practice of walking reservations. So this is something I have never properly covered on the channel because sure, it's not expressly disallowed, but it seems a bit disingenuous and frustrating to other owners. And so this is a practice essentially where you start booking the room you want sometimes weeks ahead of when you actually want it, and then every day you just push it back a day. So you're just kind of hogging inventory in the time leading up to when you would actually want to take your vacation. So again, DVC acknowledged that this happens. It doesn't happen that often. They're aware, they're working on it, but they want to avoid unintended consequences if they make a policy update. So people do genuinely just need to move their trip sometimes. Sometimes that is only by a day or two. Things happen. And you don't want to take that flexibility away from those folks who are just using the system genuinely. But for the very, very small amount of bad actors that are consistently walking long reservations in very annoying fashions, like how could we disincentivize that perhaps? So no answers were given, but I thought it was interesting to hear that this was being very acknowledged in a public forum, and also that they seem to be trying to generate ideas that will maybe not 100% prevent these practices, but at least disincentivize them heavily and at the same time not punish people who are just using the system as intended. I have not seen other big news come out of the condo association meetings, but again, because they are all disparate now instead of like one big meeting, it is a little bit harder to source. If I missed anything big, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you have any creative ideas about how we could maybe prevent or disincentivize commercial renting by owners and excessive walking of reservations by owners, I would love to hear those in the comments down below too. I think these are a bit challenging because there are no easy solutions. For the commercial renting activity, you certainly could like audit people's accounts and maybe implement a 3-strike system or something. But walking reservations is trickier, I think, to track. And again, if you wanted other DVC news, I made a separate video about that. It's linked in the description below. A lot of little DVC tidbits that came out this past month. Let's go ahead and move on to stats and analytics, and we will start with month 58. I pulled these from November 11th through December 10th. Here are the videos we posted during this time. Technically, the Lightning Lane Premiere Pass video posted a few days before the monthly period began, but most of its views are going to get racked up during this monthly period. And then we had the monthly creator update. I did 2 DVC looks at availability. One was specifically for Island Tower, and then the rest was just for general all DVC 7-month looking into the mid-June timeframe. I posted a vlog of our lunch at 50's Primetime Cafe, and we also did a room tour of my Lake View Deluxe Studio at Bay Lake Tower. And then finally, we wrapped up the month with the Disney Vacation Club 2025 Annual Dues Analysis video. And again, recently I posted the DVC News Roundup video, but it shouldn't be reflected in these stats. I did also post a handful of videos for members only. If you're interested in joining up, it is $5 a month. You can check that out over on my Ko-fi. So in last month's monthly creator update, I did link to this first one. So that is technically for everyone to view if you watch the monthly creator updates and pay attention. So that was my Disneyland trip announcement and discussion about how many park ticket days I should buy. I'm still undecided, but I'm leaning toward 4. We had a video talking about some Walt Disney World and Disney Vacation Club planning, and I won't give away any more than that. We did a little chat about the Festival of the Holidays menus and musings, and I let folks download sort of the workbook that I would use if I were going. The members did get a blog post of early access of the high takeaway analytics for the 2025 DVC dues. And then I also just showed off some really cute Disney-themed Christmas gifts that I'm giving to my nibblings. Yeah, I'm having a really fun time doing this more casual, unfiltered content. If you want to come hang out there, check out my Ko-fi. Here is a look at the top content posted this month by views. Very, very heavy DVC, not too surprising there. The top 2 are Island Tower, and number 1 is the Island Tower availability video, so I'm glad that my push to get that out in a timely manner was impactful. Half of these were actually posted this month, so the top video, that availability for Island Tower was number 5 and 6, 7-month availability and 2025 dues were, and then 9 and 10, which is a room tour and the last monthly creator update. And not quite posted in this last monthly period, but again, obviously it racked up most of its views during this time, is that Lightning Lane Premiere Pass video. This past monthly period, the channel received about 6,500 views from just over 4,200 unique viewers. Just over 1,000 of those total viewers were returning viewers. Thank you so much for coming back. All of your interactions with the channel really do help. That's things like liking the video, subscribing, leaving comments down below, ringing the bell icon to receive notifications, and sharing with friends. Plus, big thank you to Tara, Michelle, Tiffany, Coco, and Judy for being monthly members over on my Ko-fi. I really appreciate it. In this past monthly period, the channel received 460 watch hours. This was influenced by about 76,000 impressions, with 31% of those impressions coming from YouTube, and overall this last month we got 15 new subscribers to the channel. Moving on to lifetime stats, lifetime the channel is now at about 365,000 views and about 23,600 watch hours. Overall, the channel now has 4 million impressions, with 40.2% of those impressions coming from YouTube, and all of this has resulted in 1,897 subscribers. So doing some reflections and comparing month to month as well as looking lifetime overall, pretty okay. Honestly, month 58 and month 57 felt very similar. So you'll see some are up, some are down, but nothing is like super dramatic. This month we got a couple hundred less views than we did last month, but that's not really that much, honestly. This month we did get about 90 more watch hours than last month, so that is pretty good. And I'm happy to be back in like the 400 range. Impressions and impressions from YouTube were nearly identical. The watch time from those not subscribed this month was way better than usual, so that means more of my watch time was coming from people who actually subscribed. So thank you so much again for engaging with the channel. And we did get 1.5 times as many subscribers this month compared to last month, but they're both pretty down months. Anything under about 25 is like, oh, feels not great. In lifetime, we hit some cool milestones. We almost hit 1,900 subscribers, but not quite. Couldn't quite get the last squeeze of juice out of there. Overall, yeah, I don't have any major complaints. I mean, this time of year is always a bit slower, so I'm not surprised. Forever, I wish to be at least 1 subscriber a day, but can't do too much about that. I do think I worked pretty hard this past monthly period to pump out some timely and informative content, and I'm glad to see that reflected at least in the watch hours and in the folks who are already subscribed to the channel, like appreciating that. Moving on to revenue, it's estimated that I made just under $74 this month, so that's a pretty strong month for me. That's about $11.50 for every 1,000 views and a little under $33 for every 1,000 ad views. And here are the top performing videos by revenue for this past monthly period. Not too different from the top videos by views, but it is a little bit of a shakeup in the order. Basically the same content though, very DVC heavy. And lifetime, it's estimated I've now made about $1,350 total. That's coming from about $3.70 for every 1,000 views, or a little bit over $20 for every 1,000 ad views. And here's a look at the past 6 months of revenue for me. November was definitely stronger than expected in revenue, especially when you consider that the stats were not terrible, but I didn't have like a fantastic November by any means. Looking into the future, I am once again pretty far behind. I am not a federal government employee, but my job is deeply impacted by shifts in the federal government and attitude changes, and so obviously the administration change is having like a pretty big toll on me. And so things are shifting in a way that might be good in the end for me, but right now it's like pretty chaotic, and so that means I'm just working like 11+ hour days. And so yeah, I just haven't had a lot of time to put in the channel. I have pretty much been working and then been exhausted. One would think that like December might be a quieter time, but I actually think it's going to be like the busiest time for me because of all of these changes going on. That being said, what I have for sure for you is a Space 220 lounge video coming and Festival of Fantasy Parade. After that, again, I have a lot of like random food clips. I could try to make some shorts there, but I'm not entirely sure. I also do intend to take a break. I think the past couple years I've taken a break in the like Christmas, New Year's time because generally people are not watching a ton of YouTube anyway, and I think we could just all use a little bit of rest. And I might use that time to try to get a little bit ahead for January. So if I disappear for a little bit, that is why. It is planned, and hopefully I can sort of build back up my stock of things to post because I am running behind. Like, I'm filming this on Sunday, December 15th. I wanted to film this on the 11th, on the 12th, on the 13th. Like, things just kept getting in the way. And then yesterday, I wasn't feeling too well, so there was that. But I also just really needed a day to like literally do nothing. Like, my exhaustion level was just so high. I just vegged out and I really needed it. So happy opening of Island Tower to all who celebrate. I know some of you guys hate that tower. You know, new food, new vibes, new place to watch the fireworks at least. And happy holidays to you and yours, whatever it is you celebrate. I believe Hanukkah starts on Christmas this year, which is always fun. So my family, my partner and I are split between Christmas and Hanukkah, so it's nice when they overlap. Wishing you a very warm, joyful, restful season. May the rest of your day be magical, and we'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.
Are we ever going to get Disney Plus in the rooms?
I can.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually just experienced it at Island Tower this weekend. So when you have your new ITV, at the bottom, there'll be options, and you can have an option that's called Disney Plus and On Demand. You click on that, and it's actually relatively new. So we had to work with, in collaboration with Disney Plus and all the enterprise tech teams. You can log into your account from there.
Keeping the same configuration as far as tubs and showers.
Yes, there they are.
I don't know if you've ever noticed before, but Bay Lake Tower, and I guess maybe the Contemporary as well, the water has a little bit of an odor to it. And it's not really very good tasting to drink. Is there any consideration being made to try and improve that?
Good question. And nothing active that I know of, but we'll make a note on it. It is Central Florida water. It can be complicated, I know, so living here, but duly noted, and I'll look into it. But I don't know of anything currently in flight.